Hello and welcome back to the Oasis. Today we are going to be doing a movie review. The first movie review of the channel. And I think it's a movie I think everybody was pretty anticipated for, including me, I guess. I had very little expectation going into this movie, but I still was anticipating it as a comic book fan. And if you do not already know what this movie is, it is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This movie, I think, was almost hyped, reached the hype level of Spider-Man No Way Home, if not a little bit below it. But we're going to start with no spoilers. And then when we get to the spoilers part, I will say the spoilers, let you guys know so you can click out the video. But if you don't care, then just keep on watching and make it through. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, leave your comments down below of what you thought of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. For starters, this movie is about Doctor Strange meeting America Chavez, and she is on the run from an evil entity who is trying to kill her. And he goes to get the help from Scarlet Witch and Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. That is all I'm going to say without giving away spoilers. And without further ado, my thoughts. For starters, Elizabeth Olsen is probably the best part of this movie, and definitely carries the movie with her acting and with the writing she was given. Other than that, the writing I think was poor. It was rushed. They didn't let a lot of the scenes sink in and really impact you. And it was like they started right off the bat. Boom, you're in it. They go. And it is like a 2-hour movie. And you feel it. Like, it's not one of those movies that it's like so fast paced. It's like, man, that was 2 hours? I didn't feel it. It's 2 hours and you feel it. It is like 2 hours. And they just go. And they explain very little. Very little. And there are scenes where you're just like, whoa, slow down, so we can like understand this and we can like process our feelings on how we feel about this. And it's like, I was like, no, movie's over. And you're just like, what? Like, I think it is very underwhelming, and it is a very unsatisfying movie to watch. Like, I get that it sets up stuff. It's gonna set up a lot of stuff, like the next Infinity Saga for the MCU, but still, it's like, oh, it's a drag. It is a drag. You feel the 2 hours, and it is just, it's not what you expect when you watch the trailers. It is honestly called the Multiverse of Madness, but yet they only go to like one universe, and yeah, there's madness in it. I think the title definitely should have been changed, because the title in itself hypes up this level of going through the multiverse, but they go to one universe and the problem stays in their main universe and that universe. But even then they stay in the universe just to be like, here is this. Fan service. Here is this. And we're like, ooh, And then it's like, wait, you could have just cut that out of the movie. It doesn't really progress the plot or anything at all. Like, the only thing they go to the universe so they can get to this one thing, because this character set up this so they could do that. That's it. But like, they didn't need to like interact the way they did with the multiverse, I guess. Like, it seemed like the multiverse aspect is forced. And I think that they should have stuck with the original idea of keeping Nightmare as the main villain for this movie. Because I honestly feel like that was the original fossil of this movie. It's just, it's like a husk. It's got nothing to it. Like, I found myself kind of getting distracted and bored, like when I was like talking about the dialogue, and it's like there are some laughable scenes in this movie. Like, and it's not even like funny, it's just laughable. It's just the writing choices are very, very interesting and very weird as to why they would choose such a writing style, like these choices for the characters. Like, it just seems like they don't go back and watch other MCU movies and shows to like see how the character grows. They're just like, we're gonna tell this story with this character, and we do not care how it affects the character and how they've grown. And it's very relevant when it comes to like Scarlet Witch, and we'll get into that when we get to the spoiler section. But like, I loved Elizabeth Olsen in this movie. She's the best part in this movie. America Chavez makes her MCU debut in this movie, and I gotta say, she didn't need to be in this movie. She didn't. Like, it's like, oh, look, it's America Chavez. They're like, who are you? She's like, I'm America Chavez. I can travel the multiverse. It's like, oh, no way, that's cool. And then it's like, okay, we're gonna throw her in the back seat of this movie, and she'll just pop up here and there. Like, she doesn't have like, they give her like 15-second backstory, and then they throw her in the back seat again, and it's like, she's just not used at all. They don't use her character. Like, I feel like if they found a better way to travel the multiverse and took out all of her scenes, the movie would be the exact same. It would be the exact same movie. Like, if you made an artifact that could travel the multiverse instead of America Chavez, the movie would be the same. It'd be the exact same movie. Like, it's just frustrating to see that they introduced a character and that character just became this useless character that sits in the back and just shows up every once in a while for no reason. And it's just kind of disappointing to see Marvel do that, especially when they've been hyping her up and like talking about America Chavez so much, and you want to see a lot of America Chavez. Like, I wanted to see America Chavez use her powers and go to like all these different universes, but like, it's like, oh, we go to one universe. That's literally it. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I guess she's not needed anymore. Like, she can just go sit in the back seat with Wong, because Wong is useless in this movie too. He's like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, that's about it. That's all he does. And then some positives though. Sam Raimi's directing is really good. I love his directing in this movie. Just like when it comes to like the horror aspects and whatnot. Like, there are some scenes in this movie where I was like, holy crap. They did not just do that. Or they pushed this PG-13 limit. It's PG-13, but they push the limit. They push it as far as they can without making it R. There are some pretty dark, horrifying, and occult things in this movie. And it is amazing to see, but it just sucks that it's connected to the story, I guess, but it doesn't matter because they just fall flat on the story. They do. The story is just so mediocre. But like, other than the like story being mediocre, when there was action on the screen and there were those horror elements, the movie shines. The movie does shine, and it excels into something really enjoyable and fun to watch, that I sit there and I was like, oh, finally, I'm invested. I got this. Like, I get the fighting. I get what's going on. It's really cool to see, especially when it's Doctor Strange. It is visually appealing because Doctor Strange is just such a good character to do these crazy CGI visual fight scenes. And they do that in this movie, and it looks fantastic. It looks so good. But that's like all the positives that are in this movie. Like the cameos are cool. There's like very little cameos, so don't expect like crazy amount of cameos because again, they only go to one universe. But it is so good. The visuals, the cameos are fun that they have. I didn't expect a lot of cameos, but like the cameos they do have in this movie are fun. They're cool. They're a hint, they're like a nod and stuff to like what fans would have wanted and stuff. Like it's cool. It's cool to watch. But that's about all I can say without going into like spoilers. So just letting you know now, we are entering spoiler territory for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And to be frank, everything in the trailers is in the trailers. They show everything. There's not much secret. There's no secrets in the movie when you go to see it. There's like one scene they hide from you that's pretty shocking, but that's about it. But anyway, into the spoiler review. If what I just said makes you say like, oh, I don't care what the last scene they show is, like, sure, tell me the spoilers, then stay, listen to the spoiler review. But here it is. These are, from now on, my spoiler reviews for this movie. They kill Wanda in this movie. Wanda just dies. And it is the most laughable scene in the entire movie. I am sitting here watching this movie. And Doctor Strange goes to get Wanda's help. And he's like, I need your help because you're like a witch and we're dealing with witchcraft. So I need your help. And she's like, oh, so why don't you just bring America Chavez here to like, so I can take care of her. And it's like, oh, I never said her name. And she's like, that's right. I'm the bad guy. And she's like, I just want my kids back. Immediately, I was like, this is dog. This is stupid. Like, you're telling me the plot of this movie is Wanda trying to kidnap America Chavez to get her kids back. Like, I heard leaks about this being the plot, but I was like, there's no way. This is the dumbest plot I have ever heard. There's no way they're doing this. They do it. And guess what? It is dumb as hell. Like, it takes literally America, Wong, and Doctor Strange. They're all like, what are you going to do? You go to another universe. What happens to the Wanda there? And what happens to their real mother? Like, what happens next? And she genuinely does not have an answer. She's like, I don't kill. I'm not a monster. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, you realize if you take America Chavez's powers to travel the multiverse, you kill her, right? And you're over here saying, oh, I'm not a monster. I don't kill people. And then you're like, you don't even have a plan. You're a villain with no plan. You know how to get to where you want. But you're like, when it comes to like, oh, you've gotten there. All right, you've gotten to the universe with your kids in it. What now? What happens to the Wanda there? She literally doesn't answer the question. Like, I feel like they left that scene in, but they were supposed to cut it. Because, like, the characters just brush over the scene and act like Doctor Strange did not just ask that question. It's so dumb. Like, it's, like, constantly throughout the movie, like, Wanda, but what happens to the original Wanda? Wanda, the kids are gonna, like, you're gonna be a monster. The kids are never gonna love you. This and that. And it's, like, so stupid. And then it, like, what baffles me is the final, like, act of this movie. Like, it's so dumb. It's like, why didn't we just do that in the first act? If everybody knew how it was going to play out with Wanda finally getting back to the universe with her kids, why would we not just do this at the beginning of the movie? Like, she is corrupted by the Darkhold. She is a fucking psychopath. Why don't we just do this at the beginning of the movie and then maybe we can finally get the ending and it could save us so much time because this movie should have been shorter. This movie was a drag. Oh my gosh. It literally ends. You guys know how it ends. America Chavez is like, fine. Bah! Takes her to the universe. And then goes, oh, I'm your kids. Like, no, no, no. And the kids are like, get the fuck away from me. You're a fucking monster. Like, who are you? Like, you're evil. And then she's like, oh, wow, I am a monster. Like, holy crap. I'm a terrible person. Like, I went like this. I was like, oh my god. Like, because, like, hours before the movie, I said, if they make Wanda the villain, they're going to make some dumbass speech, and then she'll turn into a good guy. And that is exactly what they do. It is so dumb. I hate when movies do that. They're like, well, the main character can't change her mind because then the movie would be too short. Side characters can't do it either. Let's just have her do it from another universe. And then she's like, yeah, I'm a monster. I'm a terrible person. Alright, my kids don't love me no more. I'm gonna go kill myself. And then she goes and kills herself to, like, close the universe up, I guess. Which was just dumb as hell. I'm sorry. Like, I get it was supposed to be emotional. I did not care. I was too busy questioning the existence of the movie. Like, I just was like, why didn't we just do this at the beginning? Save me, like, an hour and a half of my life. To go and just, do this ending. Because it sucked. The ending was so underwhelming. She goes, they'll be loved. And she's like, well, I'm gonna go kill myself. She's like, no one will be tempted by the dark hold again. And then she dies and falls off a cliff. It's like, okay. But I swear, if Marvel, he mark my words, if Marvel brings Wanda back in Universe 616, I'm gonna be triggered. Because here's the thing. You have to die in order to close the Darkhold. She killed herself closing all of the Darkholds in all of the universes. She died. The Darkholds don't exist anymore. Which means she is dead. So if you bring her back and say, oh, she didn't really die, that makes no sense at all, Marvel. Marvel, leave Wanda dead and just bring her, just have her be in, like, multiverse movies in different universes. Because, like, you can't bring her back. If you do, you're just contradicting this movie. You're contradicting the shitty ending you wrote. That you guys had to have because that's the ending you wanted. Like, you made the original director leave because he wanted Nightmare to be the main bad guy. But clearly you guys wanted Wanda to be the main bad guy and have this ending. You fought so hard for this ending. If you change it, you guys are going to look so dumb. Marvel will look dumb. Because I guarantee the movie with Nightmare as the bad guy would have been 10 times better than what I watched last night. It would have been so much better. Guaranteed. But the cameos in this movie, I love seeing John Krasinski. Love seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. They better keep him. They better make him the main Mr. Fantastic for the Fantastic Four. Because, like, he does really well in this role. Professor X, really cool. I'm glad they brought Patrick Stewart back. Really happy to see that. It was crazy seeing Wanda cut Captain Carter in half, blowing up Black Bolt's head, and then turning John Krasinski into spaghetti noodles. That was gnarly. But, like, other than the action, there's nothing good in this movie. But even then, the action is just... Like, the beginning Gigantos fight drags on so long. I was like, oh, this fight scene's so cool. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then I was like, is it over yet? Is it gonna finish? Like, 15 minutes of fighting this octopus. 15 minutes! You could have cut that. You could have cut that in half. I did not need a 15-minute fight scene of Doctor Strange and Wong fighting Gargantos. I got bored. It was getting boring. And then I was just kind of like, ugh. Like, come on, alright, we know you're going to win. It doesn't matter. You know. But yeah, overall, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a 6 out of 10. I'm just disappointed to see that they ruined the sequel of one of my favorite Marvel characters. Because they should have kept the original sequel. They should have. And nothing is ever going to make me change my mind about that. Nothing. Nightmare should have been the villain. Or Mordo. Not Wanda. Because I knew I knew what ending was coming. I saw it coming from a mile away, and I knew it was going to be stupid because you cannot nail endings like that. Making endings with speeches of how the bad guy needs to be good, or making stupid scenes of like making the villain realize like, oh, this and that. Like, Wanda is such a smart character, but in this movie they make her dumb just to progress the plot. It is frustrating as hell to watch. Like, as soon as she went, but I want my kids back. Like, I get she's been through a lot and grief and stuff, but like, still, she is a smart character. But yet they dumb her down just so there's a villain in this movie and they can progress the plot and have an excuse to introduce the multiverse. It is sad to see. It is sad to see that they have to dumb down characters to progress a plot so they can introduce something they want to introduce. If you want to introduce it, make it flow. Make it natural. Don't affect your characters. Like, make the characters the same. Just introduce a different villain. Like, you don't have to make a character dumb so you can introduce the multiverse. Like, there are so many other ways you could have done it. I guarantee it. Like, America Chavez, the reason I say she did not need to be in this movie is because she's barely in it. She barely has any roles, speaking lines, anything. Like, she literally, if they replaced her with, like, an artifact that makes it so that you can travel in the multiverse, and they just made up an artifact, and Wanda was after that, the movie would have been the same. Would have been the same. No doubt in my mind, the movie would have been the same. It's just, it's such a mid movie. It's Doctor Strange in madness, because there's no multiverse. If you're gonna call it the multiverse, travel the multiverse. Don't travel a universe. Like, it's underwhelming. It's an underwhelming movie to watch. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Make sure to leave your comments down below on what you thought of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Smack a like and subscribe, because there's a lot more content to come. Thank you all for watching the video, and enjoy the rest of your day here in the Oasis.